What's the game? Well?
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
What's your name?
I don't know you. I don't know who you are.
Eh?
Jenkins.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Jenkins. You sleep here last night?
Yes.
Sleep well?
Yes.
I'm awfully glad. It's awfully nice to meet you. What did you say your name was?
Jenkins.
I beg your pardon?
Jenkins.
Jenkins. You remind me of my uncle's brother. He was always on the move, that man, never without his passport, and an eye for the girls. Very much your build. Bit of an athlete, long jump specialist. He had a habit of demonstrating different run-ups in the drawing room round about Christmas time. Had a penchant for nuts. That's what it was. Nothing else but a penchant. Couldn't eat enough of them. Peanuts, walnuts, Brazil nuts, monkey nuts. Wouldn't touch a piece of fruitcake. He had a marvellous stopwatch. Picked it up in Hong Kong the day after they chucked him out of the Salvation Army. Used to go in number 4 for Beckenham Reserves. That was before he got his gold medal. Had a funny habit of carrying his fiddle on his back like a papoose. I think there was a bit of the Red Indian in him. To be honest, I've never made out how he came to be my uncle's brother. I've often thought that maybe it was the other way around. I mean, that my uncle was his brother and he was my uncle. But I never called him uncle. As a matter of fact, I called him Sid. My mother called him Sid too. It was a funny business. Your spitting image he was. Married a Chinaman and went to Jamaica. I hope you slept well last night.
Listen, I don't know who you are.
What bed do you sleep in?
Now look here.
Hey?
That one.
Not the other one?
No.
Susie. How do you like my room?
Your room?
Yes.
This ain't your room. I don't know who you are. I ain't never seen you before.
You know, believe it or not, you've got a funny kind of resemblance to a bloke I once knew in Shoreditch. Actually, he lived in Aldgate. I was staying with a cousin in Camden Town. This chap, he used to have a pitch in Finsbury Park, just by the bus depot. When I got to know him, I found out he was brought up in Putney. That didn't make any difference to me. I know quite a few people who were born in Putney. Even if they weren't born in Putney, they were born in Fulham. The only trouble was, he wasn't born in Putney. He was only brought up in Putney. Turned out, he was born in the Caledonian Road, just before you get to the Nag's Head. His old mum was still living at the Angel. All the buses passed right by the door. She could get a 38, a 581, a 30, or a 38A, take her down the Essex Road to Dalston Junction in next to no time. Well, of course, if she got the 30, he'd take her up Upper Street Way, round by Highbury Corner and down to St Paul's Church. But she'd get to Dalston Junction, just the same in the end. I used to leave my bike in her garden on my way to work. Yes, it was a curious affair. Dead spit of you he was, bit big around the nose, but there was nothing in it. Did you sleep here last night?
Yes.
Sleep well?
Yes.
Did you have to get up in the night?
No.
What's your name?
Now look here.
What?
Jenkins.
Jenkins. Sleep here last night?
Yes.
How'd you sleep?
I slept.
Sleep well?
Now look.
What bed?
That.
Not the other?
No.
Susie. Susie. What sort of sleep did you have in that bed?
All right.
You weren't uncomfortable?
All right.
You a foreigner?
No.
Born and bred in the British Isles?
I was.
What did they teach you? How did you like my bed? That's my bed. You want to mind you don't catch a draft.
From the bed?
No, now, up your arse. You intending to settle down here?
Give me my trousers then.
You settling down for a long stay?
Give me my bloody trousers.
Why? Where are you going?
Give me and I'm going. I'm going to Sidcup.
You know, you remind me of a bloke I bumped into once, just the other side of the Guildford bypass.
I was brought here.
Pardon?
I was brought here. I was brought here.
Brought here? Who brought you here?
Man who lives here. He
Fibber.
I was brought here last night. Met him in a calf. I was working. I got the bullet. I was working there. Bloke saved me from a punch-up. Brought me here. Brought me right here.
I'm afraid you're a born fibber, ain't you? You're speaking to the owner. This is my room. You're standing in my house.
It's his. He's seen me all right.
That's my bed.
What about that then?
That's my mother's bed.
Well, she wasn't in it last night.
Now, don't get perky, son. Don't get perky. Keep your hands off my old mum.
I haven't.
Don't get out of your depth, friend. Don't start taking liberties with my old mother. Let's have a bit of respect.
I got respect. You won't find anyone with more respect.
Well, stop telling me all these fibs.
Now, listen to me. I've never seen you before, have I?
Never seen my mother before either, I suppose. I think I'm coming to the conclusion that you're an old rogue. You're nothing but an old scoundrel.
No, wait.
Listen, son. Listen, sonny. You stink.
You ain't got no right to.
You're stinking the place out. You're an old robber. There's no getting away from it. You're an old skate. You don't belong in a nice place like this. You're an old barbarian, honest. You've got no business wandering about in an unfurnished flat. I could charge £7 a week for this if I wanted. Get a taker tomorrow. 350 a year exclusive. No argument. I mean, if that sort of money's in your range, don't be afraid to say so. Here you are. Furniture and fittings. I'll take 400 or the nearest offer. Rateable value, 90 quid for the atom. You can reckon water, heating and lighting are close on 50. That'll cost you 890. If you're all that keen, say the word and I'll have my solicitors draft you out a contract. Otherwise, I've got the van outside. I can run you to the police station in 5 minutes. Have you in for trespassing, loitering with intent, daylight robbery, filching, thieving, and stinking the place out. What do you say? Unless you're really keen on a straightforward purchase, of course, I'll get my brother to decorate it up for you. I've got a brother who's the #1 decorator. He'll decorate it up for you. If you want more space, there's 4 more rooms along the landing ready to go. Bathroom, living room, bedroom, and nursery. You can have this as your study. This brother I mentioned is just about to start on the other rooms. Yes, just about to start. So what do you say? 800 odd for this room or 3,000 down for the whole upper story. On the other hand, if you prefer to approach it in the long-term way, I know an insurance firm in West Ham will be pleased to handle the deal for you. No strings attached, open and above board, untarnished record, 20% interest, 50% deposit, down payments, back payments, family allowances, bonus schemes, remission of term for good behaviour, 6 months lease, yearly examination of the relevant archives, tea laid on, disposal of shares, benefit extension, compensation on cessation, comprehensive indemnity against riot, civil commotion, labour disturbances, storm, tempest, thunderbolt, larceny or cattle, all subject to a daily check and double check. Of Of course, we'd need a signed declaration from your personal medical attendant as assurance that you possess the requisite fitness to carry the can, won't we? Who do you bank with? Who do you bank with?
Look here.
Where are you going?
I'm going to get my old...
Watch your step, sonny. You're knocking at the door when no one's at home. Don't push it too hard. You come busting into a private house, laying your hands on anything you can lay your hands on. Don't overstep the mark, son.
What's this? What's the matter with this damn light? Don't tell me the damn light's gone now. What'll I do? Damn light's gone now. Can't see a thing. What'll I do? Oh, God. What's that? Give me a light. Wait a minute. Where is it? Where's the bloody matchbox? What's that? What? Who's that? What's that? Where's my box? It was down here. Who's this? Who's moving it? Come on. Who's this? Who's got my box? Who's in here? I got a knife here. I'm ready. Come on then. Who are you? All right. Get away. I'm ready for you. I'm here.
I was just doing some spring cleaning. There used to be a wall plug for this Electrolux, but it doesn't work. I had to fit it in the light socket. How do you think the place is looking? I gave it a good going over. We take it in turns, once a fortnight, my brother and me, to give the place a thorough going over. I was working late tonight. I only just got here, but I thought I'd better get on with it, as it's my turn. It's not that I actually live here. I don't. As a matter of fact, I live somewhere else. But after all, I'm responsible for the upkeep of the premises, ain't I? Can't help being house proud. What are you waving that about for?
You come near me.
I'm sorry if I gave you a start, but I had you in mind too, you know. I mean, my brother's guest. We got to think of your comfort, ain't we? Don't want the dust to get up your nose. How long are you thinking of staying here, by the way? As a matter of fact, I was going to suggest that we'd lower your rent. Make it just a nominal sum. I mean, until you got it fixed up. Just nominal. That's all. Still, if you're going to be spiky, I'll have to reconsider the whole proposition. Hey, you don't think you're doing any violence on me, are you? You're not the violent sort, are you?
I keep myself to myself, mate. But if anyone starts with me, though, they know what they got coming.
I can believe that.
You do. I've been all over, see? You understand my meaning? I don't mind a bit of a joke now and then, but anyone will tell you that no one starts anything with me.
I get what you mean, yes.
I can be pushed so far, but...
No further.
That's it. What you doing?
No, I just want to say that I'm very impressed by that.
Eh?
I'm very impressed by what you just said. Yes, that's impressive, that is. I'm impressed anyway.
You know what I'm talking about then?
Yes, I know. I think we understand one another.
Huh? Well, I'll tell you, I'd like to think that. You've been playing me about, you know. I don't know why. I never done you no harm.
No, you know what it was? We just got off on the wrong foot. That's all it was.
Aye, we did.
Like a sandwich?
What?
Have one of these.
Don't you pull anything?
No, you're still not understanding me. I can't help being interested in any friend of my brother's. I mean, you're my brother's friend, aren't you?
Well, I wouldn't put it as far as that.
Don't you find him friendly then?
Well, I wouldn't say we was all that friends. I mean, he done me no harm, but I wouldn't say he was any particular friend of mine. What's in that sandwich then?
Cheese.
Ah, that'll do me.
Take one.
Thank you, mister.
I'm sorry to hear my brother's not very friendly.
He's friendly. He's friendly. I didn't say he wasn't.
Salt?
No thanks. I just can't exactly make him out.
I forgot the pepper.
Just can't get the hang of him, that's all.
I had a bit of beetroot somewhere. Must have mislaid it. Listen, can I ask your advice? I mean, you're a man of the world. Can I ask your advice about something?
You go right ahead.
Well, what it is, you see, I'm a bit worried about my brother.
Your brother?
Yes, you see, his trouble is,
What?
well, it's not a very nice thing to say.
Go on now. You say it.
He doesn't like work.
Go on.
No, he just doesn't like work. That's his trouble.
Is that a fact?
It's a terrible thing to say about your own brother.
Aye.
He's just shy of it. Very shy of it.
I know that sort.
You know the type.
I've met them.
I mean, I want him to get going in the world.
Stands to reason, man.
If you've got an older brother, you want to push him on. You want to see him make his way. Can't have him idle. He's only doing himself harm. That's what I say.
Yes.
But he won't buckle down to the job.
He don't like work.
Work shy.
Sounds like it to me.
You've met the type, have you?
Me? I know that sort.
Yes.
I know that sort. I've met them.
Causing me great anxiety. You see, I'm a working man. I'm a tradesman. I've got my own van.
Is that a fact?
He's supposed to be doing a little job for me. I keep him here to do a little job. But I don't know. I'm coming to the conclusion he's a slow worker. What would your advice be?
Well, he's a funny bloke, your brother.
What?
I was saying he's a bit of a funny bloke, your brother.
Funny? Why?
Well, he's funny.
What's funny about him?
Not liking work.
What's funny about that?
Nothing.
I don't call it funny.
Nor me.
You don't want to start getting hypercritical.
I know. I wasn't that. I was only saying.
Don't get too glib.
Look, all I meant was.
Cut it. Look, I've got a proposition to make to you. I'm thinking of taking over the running of this place, you see. I think it could be run a bit more efficiently. I've got a lot of ideas, a lot of plans. How would you like to stay on here as caretaker?
What?
I'll be quite open with you. I could rely on a man like you around the place, keeping an eye on things.
Well, now, wait a minute. I ain't never done no caretaking before, you know.
Doesn't matter about that. It's just that you look a capable sort of a man to me.
I am a capable sort of man. I mean to say, I've had plenty offers in my time. You know, there's no getting away from that.
Well, I could see before, when you took out that knife, that you wouldn't let anyone mess you about.
No one messes me about, man.
I mean, you've been in the services, haven't you?
The what?
You've been in the services. You can tell by your stance.
Oh, yes. Spent half my life there, man. overseas, like serving. I was
In the colonies, weren't you?
over there. I was one of the first over there.
That's it. You're just the man I've been looking for.
What for?
Caretaker.
Yes. Well, look, listen, who's the landlord here? Him or you?
Me, I am. I've got deeds to prove it.
Ah, well, listen, I don't mind doing a bit of caretaking. I wouldn't mind looking after the place for you.
Of course, we'd come to a small financial agreement, mutually beneficial.
I leave you to reckon that out, like.
Thanks. There's only one thing.
What's that?
Can you give me any references?
Eh?
Just to satisfy my solicitor.
I've got plenty of references. All I've got to do is go down to the Sid Cup tomorrow. I've got all of the references I want down there.
Where's that?
Sid Cup. He ain't only got my references down there, he's got all my papers down there. I know that place like the back of my hand. I'm going down there anyway, see what I mean? I've got to get down there or I'm done.
So we can always get hold of those references if we want them.
I'll be down there any day, I tell you. I was going down there today, but I'm waiting for the weather to break.
Ah.
Listen, you can't pick me up a pair of good shoes, can you? I've got a bad need for a good pair of shoes. I can't get anywhere without a good pair of shoes, see? Do you think there's any chance of you being able to pick me up a pair? I got a feeling he's done something to them cracks. See? There's been plenty of rain in the last week, but it ain't been dripping into the bucket. He must have tarred it over there. There was someone walking about on the roof the other night. Must have been him. But I got a feeling he's tarred it over on the roof up there. Ain't said a word to me about it. Don't say a word to me. He don't answer me when I talk to him. He don't give me no knife. He don't give me no knife to cut my bread. How can I cut a loaf of bread without no knife? It's an impossibility.
You've got a knife.
What?
You've got a knife.
I've got a knife. Sure, I've got a knife. But how do you expect me to cut a good loaf of bread with that? That's not a bread knife. There's nothing to do with cutting bread. I picked it up somewhere. I don't know where it's been, do I? No, what I want...
I know what you want.
What about this gas stove? He tells me it's not connected. How do I know it's not connected? Here I am. I'm sleeping right with it. I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm looking right into the oven. Man, it's right next to my face. How do I know? I could be lying there in bed. It might blow up. It might do me harm. But he don't seem to take any notice of what I say to him. I told him the other day, see? I told him about them blacks coming up from next door and using the lavatory. I told him it was all dirty in there. All the banisters were dirty. They were black. All the lavatory was black. But what did he do? He's supposed to be in charge of it here. He had nothing to say. He hadn't got a word to say. A couple of weeks ago, he sat there. He gave me a long chat. About a couple of weeks ago, a long chat he gave me. Since then, he ain't hardly said a word. He went on talking there. I don't know what he was. He wasn't looking at me. He wasn't talking to me. He don't care about me. He was talking to himself. That's all he worries about. I mean, you come up to me, you ask me my advice. He wouldn't never do a thing like that. I mean, we don't have any conversations, see? You can't live in the same room with someone who don't have any conversation with you. I just can't get the hang of him. You and me, we could get this place going.
Yes, you're quite right. Look what I could do with this place. I could turn this place into a penthouse. For instance, this room you could have as the kitchen. Right size, nice windows, sun comes in. I'd have teal blue, copper and parchment linoleum squares. I'd have those colours re-echoed in the walls. I'd offset the kitchen units with charcoal grey worktops. Plenty of room for cupboards for the crockery. We'd have a small wall cupboard, a large wall cupboard, a corner wall cupboard with revolving shelves. You wouldn't be short of cupboards. You could put the dining room across the landing, see? Yes. Venetian blinds on the window, cork floor, cork tiles. You could have an off-white pile linen rug, a table in Aframosia teak veneer, sideboard with matte black drawers, curved chairs with cushioned seats, armchairs in oatmeal tweed, a beach frame settee with a woven seagrass seat, white-topped, heat-resistant coffee table, white tile surround. Yes. Then the bedroom. What's a bedroom? It's a retreat. It's a place to go for rest and peace. So you want quiet decoration, the lighting functional, furniture, mahogany and rosewood, deep azure blue carpet, unglazed blue and white curtains, a bedspread with a pattern of small roses on a white ground, dressing table with a lift-up top containing a plastic tray, table lamp of white raffia. It wouldn't be a flat, it'd be a palace.
I'd say it would, man.
A palace.
Who would live there?
I would. My brother and me.
What about me?
All this junk here, it's no good to anyone. It's just a lot of old iron, that's all. Clobber. Couldn't make a home out of this. There's no way you could arrange it. It's junk. You could never sell it either. You wouldn't get tuppence for it. Junk. But he doesn't seem to be interested in what I got in mind. That's the trouble. Why don't you have a chat with him? See if he's interested.
Me?
Yes, you're a friend of his.
He's no friend of mine.
You're living in the same room with him, ain't you?
He's no friend of mine. You don't know where you are with him. I mean, with a bloke like you know where you are.
I mean,
you've got your own ways. I'm not saying you ain't got your own ways. Anyone can see that. You may have some funny ways, but that's the same with all of us. But with him, it's different, you see. I mean, at least with you, the thing is, you're...
straightforward.
That's it. You're straight.
Yes.
But with him, you don't know what he's up to half the time. He's got no feelings. See, what I need is a clock. I need a clock to tell the time. How can I tell the time without a clock? I can't do it. I said to him, I said, look here, what about getting in a clock so as I can tell what time it is? I mean, if you can't tell what time you're at, you don't know where you are. You understand my meaning? See, what I've got to do now, if I'm walking about outside, I've got to keep my eye on a clock and keep the time in my head for when I come in. But that's no good. I mean, I'm not in here 5 minutes and I've forgotten it. I've forgotten what time it is. Look at it this way. If I don't feel well, I have a bit of a lay down. Then when I wake up, I don't know what time it is to go and have a cup of tea. You see, it's not so bad when I'm coming in. I can see the clock on the corner. The moment I'm stepping into the house, I know what the time is. But when I'm in, it's when I'm in that I haven't the foggiest idea what time it is. No, what I need is a clock in here, in this room. And then I stand a bit of a chance. But he don't give me one. He wakes me up. He wakes me up in the middle of the night, tells me I'm making noises. I tell you, I've half a mind to give him a mouthful one of these days.
He don't let you sleep?
He don't let me sleep. He wakes me up.
That's terrible.
I've been plenty of other places. They always let me sleep. It's the same the whole world over, except here.
Sleep's essential. I've always said that.
You're right. It's essential. I get up in the morning. I'm worn out. I've got business to see to. I've got to move myself. I've got to sort myself out. I've got to get fixed up. But when I wake up in the morning, I ain't got no energy in me. And on top of that, I ain't got no clock.
Yes.
He goes out. I don't know where he goes to. Where does he go? He never tells me. We used to have a bit of a chat. Not anymore. I never see him. He goes out. He comes in late. Next thing I know, he's shoving me about in the middle of the night. Listen, I wake up in the morning. And he's smiling at me. He's standing there looking at me, smiling. I can see him, you see. I can see him through the blanket. He puts on his coat. He turns himself round. He looks down at my bed. There's a smile on his face. What the hell's he smiling at? What he don't know is that I'm watching him through that blanket. He don't know that. He don't know I can see him. He thinks I'm asleep, but I got my eye on him all the time through the blanket, see? But he don't know that. He just looks at me and he smiles. But he don't know that I can see him doing it. No. What you want to do, you want to speak to him, see? I got that worked out. You want to tell him that we got ideas for this place. We could build it up. We could get it started. You see, I could decorate it out for you. I could give you a hand in doing it. Between us. Where do you live now, then?
Me? Oh, I've got a little place. Not bad. Everything laid on. You must come up and have a drink sometime. Listen to some Tchaikovsky.
No, you see, you're the bloke who wants to talk to him. I mean, you're his brother.
Yes. Maybe I will.
Where are you going? This is him. Stink! You hear that? Me! I told you what he said, didn't I? Stink! You hear that? That's what he said to me. That's what he said to me.
You don't stink.
No, sir.
If you stank, I'd be the first to tell you.
I told him. I said to him, you ain't heard the last of this, man. I said, don't forget your brother. I told him you'd be coming down to sort him out. You don't know when he started doing that to me. I said to him, he'll be along, your brother. He'll be along. Your brother will be along. He's got sense, not like you.
What do you mean?
Eh?
Are you saying my brother hasn't got any sense?
What I'm saying is you've got ideas for this place, all this decorating, see? I mean, he's got no right to order me about. I take orders from you. I do my caretaking for you. I mean, you look upon me, you don't treat me like a lump of dirt. We can both we can both see him for what he is.
What did he say then, when you told him I'd offered you the job as caretaker?
He, he said, he said something about he lived here.
Yes, he's got a point, hasn't he?
A point? This is your house, isn't it? You let him live here.
I could tell him to go, I suppose.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I could tell him to go. I mean, I'm the landlord. On the other hand, he's a sitting tenant. Giving him notice, you see, what it is, it's a technical matter. That's what it is. Depends how you regard this room. I mean, it depends whether you regard this room as furnished or unfurnished. See what I mean?
No, I don't.
All this furniture you see in here, it's all his, except the beds, of course. So what it is, it's a fine legal point. That's what it is.
I tell you, he should go back where he come from.
Come from?
Yes.
Where did he come from?
Well, he
You get a bit out of your depth sometimes, don't you? Well, anyway, as things stand, I don't mind having a go at doing up the place.
that's what I wanted to hear.
No, I don't mind. But you better be as good as you say you are.
What do you mean?
Well, you say you're an interior decorator. You'd better be a good one.
A what?
What do you mean, a what? A decorator? An interior decorator?
Me? What do you mean? I never touched that. I never been that.
You've never what?
No, not me, man. I'm not an interior decorator. I've been too busy. Too many other things to do, you see. But I could always turn my hand to most things. Give me a bit of time to pick it up.
I don't want you to pick it up. I want a first-class experienced interior decorator. I thought you were one.
Me? No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You got the wrong man.
How could I have the wrong man? You're the only man I've spoken to. You're the only man I've told about all my dreams, about my deepest wishes. You're the only one I've told. And I only told you because I understood you were an experienced, first-class, professional interior and exterior decorator.
Now, look here.
You mean you wouldn't know how to fit teal blue copper and parchment linoleum squares and have those colours re-echoed in the walls?
Now, look here. Where'd you get...
You wouldn't be able to decorate out a table in Afro-Mosier teak veneer, an armchair in oatmeal tweed, and a beech frame settee with woven seagrass seat?
I never said that.
Christ, I must have been under a false impression.
I never said it.
You're a bloody imposter, mate.
Now, you don't want to start saying that sort of thing to me. You took me on here as caretaker. I was going to give you a helping hand, that's all, for a small wage. I never said anything about that. You start calling me names.
What is your name?
Don't start that.
No, what's your real name?
My real name's Davies.
What's the name you go under?
Jenkins.
You got two names. What about the rest, eh? Now, come on. Why did you tell me all this dirt about you being an interior decorator?
I didn't tell you nothing. Won't you listen to what I'm saying? It was him who told you. It was your brother who must have told you. He's nutty. He'd tell you anything out of spite. He's nutty. He's halfway gone. It was him who told you.
What did you call my brother?
When?
He's what?
Now get this straight.
Nutty? Who's nutty? Did you call my brother nutty? My brother? That's a bit of an impertinent thing to say, isn't it?
But he says so himself.
What a strange man you are, aren't you? You're really strange. Ever since you came into this house, there's been nothing but trouble. Honest, I can take nothing you say at face value. Every word you speak is open to any number of different interpretations. Most of what you say is lies. You're violent. You're erratic. You're just completely unpredictable. You're nothing else but a wild animal when you come down to it. You're a barbarian. And to put the old tin lid on it, you stink from arsehole to breakfast time. Look at it. You come here recommending yourself as an interior decorator, whereupon I take you on, and what happens? You make a long speech about all the references you got down at Sidcup, and what happens? I haven't noticed you go down to Sidcup to obtain them. It's almost regrettable, but it looks as though I'm compelled to pay you off for your caretaking work. Here's $50.
All right then, you do that. You do it. If that's what you want.
That's what I want. Anyone would think this house was all I got to worry about. I've got plenty of other things I can worry about. I've got other things. I've got plenty of other interests. I've got my own business to build up, haven't I? I've got to think about expanding in all directions. I don't stand still. I'm moving about all the time. I'm moving all the time. I've got to think about the future. I'm not worried about this house. I'm not interested. My brother can worry about it. He can do it up. He can decorate it. He can do what he likes with it. I'm not bothered. I thought I was doing him a favor, letting him live here. He's got his own ideas. Let him have them. I'm going to chuck it in.
What about me?